Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the last episode, we told you how the leaders of Quraysh called An-Nadr ibn al-Harith to come from At-Ta'if. An-Nadr was a great traveler. He had visited many lands and he knew countless stories from different countries. When he arrived in Mecca, the disbelievers of Quraysh said to him, whenever Muhammad sits with the people and talks to them, sit nearby, tell your stories, gather people around you, and distract them from listening to him. An-Nadr agreed, and the plan began. Every time the Prophet ﷺ sat with the people around him, An-Nadr would sit close by and start telling exciting stories. Stories of kings, heroes, and ancient legends. At first, some people left the Prophet ﷺ and went to listen to An-Nadr's tales. For a short time, the plan seemed to work, but it didn't last long. The people of Mecca soon became bored. The same stories over and over again. The stories lost their magic. Once more, hearts began to long for something deeper, something true, something that touched the soul. They returned to listening to the Quran from the Prophet ﷺ. Once again, Quraysh's plan failed. That's when Abu Jahl made a terrifying decision. He said, this message will not end unless Muhammad is killed. He gathered the leaders of Quraysh and told them that he was determined to kill the Prophet ﷺ, whether they helped him or not. In the end, they agreed to support him. They planned to kill the Prophet ﷺ while he was prostrating at the Kaaba. Abu Jahl went to the Kaaba carrying a huge stone. He waited until the Prophet ﷺ went down on sujood. He lifted the stone to strike him. Suddenly, everyone saw Abu Jahl running in fear. When they caught up with him, they asked, what happened? Why did you run? Abu Jahl said in shock, didn't you see that massive camel rushing toward me? They replied, we saw nothing. But it was Allah's protection surrounding his Prophet ﷺ. After that, Quraysh met again. They decided that no one from outside Mecca should speak to Muslims, and that no one inside Mecca should talk about Islam. Then they began torturing the believers. Among those who were tortured was the family of Yasir, Sumayya, her husband Yasir, and their son Ammar. Abu Jahl tortured them mercilessly until he killed Sumayya radiallahu anha with a spear. She became the first martyr in Islam. Then he killed her husband Yasir. Another believer who was tortured was Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu. They laid him on a burning desert sand, placed a massive stone on his chest, and demanded that he leave Islam. But Bilal could only say, Ahadun Ahad, which means Allah is one, declaring his faith in Allah alone. The torture grew harsher, but not a single believer turned away from Islam. They remained patient. They remained strong. The Prophet ﷺ passed by them and encouraged them to be patient, promising them paradise. When the Prophet ﷺ saw how much his companions were suffering, he knew that a solution was needed. So he asked the companions together because he had something very important to tell them. What was the solution of the Prophet ﷺ? And how would he protect his companions? The answer will be in the next episode. Stay tuned for the next episode of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
صلوا عليه أفضل صلاة، صلوا يزيد الشوق صلة لحبيبي بيرد السلام، والمولى بيزيد الصلاة. صلوا عليه أفضل صلاة، صلوا يزيد الشوق صلة لحبيبي بيرد السلام، والمولى بيزيد الصلاة.